Right now, new details about a deadly Sun Prairie apartment fire. We'll hear from one of the victims who was taken to the hospital.
And correctional officers find an inmate dead in his cell after he was charged with killing his wife in Wisconsin Dells.
Plus, police are looking for more information after flyers are found in a Madison neighborhood warning people about an alleged sexual predator.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
And thanks for joining us tonight. Firefighters are still trying to figure out what caused an apartment fire in Sun Prairie last night that killed a 40-year-old man.
The fire chief says it was fortunate there was just one death because the building had no sprinkler system. Amanda Quintana is on the scene for us with the very latest. Amanda?
Yes, well, in just the last hour, the Dane County Medical Examiner identified that man, Charles Cobb. He was 40 years old. Along with that one death, there was one man taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Now he's realizing it could have been much worse.
Well, I was about the oldest resident in that building, so I'm just glad the young kids and that got out safe. And thank God I'm here.
In an apartment full of young families, including his own 12-year-old grandson, almost everyone was able to make it out safe when a fire broke out Sunday night. But Jerry Gilbertson was still sleeping.
I never did pass out, but it felt like I was in and out of consciousness. And
his daughter sent firefighters in for him.
we had to act real fast. The hallways were full of smoke, and I just remember holding on to a fireman's shoulder, and he was guiding me out, and didn't have to be carried, but I was still able to walk.
In their second search of the building, firefighters found one person wasn't as lucky.
We feel very fortunate that it was only one.
The fire chief says in older buildings without a sprinkler system, things don't often end well.
I think that a sprinkler system keeps almost all fires in check until the fire department gets here. So you don't see fatalities with buildings with sprinkler systems. I'm not trying to put us out of business, but that's a fact.
Something Gilbertson wasn't aware of, but with his family safe, staying with his grandson's big brother's big sister's mentor,
this was probably the most suitable place for me and my family to go.
all he can feel is
Oh, very grateful to be alive.
all 16 units here were displaced, but the Red Cross did not set up a shelter. They've been talking with people and helping them. We've seen some families come here, tried to get some of their things from inside. Right now, firefighters have not given us an idea of what might have caused this fire.
Certainly something we will keep an eye on ourselves. Amanda Quintana reporting live in Sun Prairie tonight. Thank you, Amanda.
And a developing story tonight. The man accused of killing his wife in their Wisconsin Dells home last month has died in jail. 31-year-old Fouad Pashayev hanged himself, found by jail staff yesterday in his cell. According to a release, officers tried to revive him but were unsuccessful. Pashayev was charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of his wife, 23-year-old Tatiana Hushva. Investigators believe her body was in the home for several days before she was found. Court records show that he was already facing 11 domestic abuse charges prior to the homicide.
Madison police say a man has turned himself in after allegedly driving his van into the Overture Center last week. 54-year-old Daryl Pierce turned himself in yesterday. Police say the van he was driving hit the Overture Center and a street sign Friday night and may have hit several parked cars as well. Turning things over to weather now, you're looking live at the Capitol this evening. A warm weekend and then the storms last night, but now it looks like we're going in the wrong direction temperature-wise. The cooler weather is sticking around for a while.
Let's get our first alert forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Yeah, today wasn't bad. I mean, temperatures were definitely cooler than yesterday, but it'll turn chilly and rainy, especially by Wednesday. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. We've had some sunshine, but now the clouds are starting to move back in from Iowa and Minnesota. And on Doppler track, you can see some light showers moving into northeastern Iowa. Some of these will affect parts of southern Wisconsin this evening, but mainly from mid to late evening through the early overnight hours. Over the last 48 hours, over an inch of rain may have fallen from northwestern Dane County through much of Sauk County, with about a half inch to an inch just south of that area. Areas east and south of Madison were generally less than a half inch of rain, but latest computer model forecasts show about an inch to an inch and a half of rain through midday on Thursday. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 40s to around 50. High temperatures today, upper 50s to the lower 60s. 60s were more common west of Madison where there was some sunshine. Temperatures that are a little warmer there now 61 in Platteville, 65 in Boscobel, while Madison still at 58. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be down to around 40. As the showers come to an end, we see some breaks in the clouds. Tomorrow we'll call it variably cloudy skies. It'll still be on the cool side, but should be dry during the day with a high of 57. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Police are looking for more information regarding sexual predator flyers that were seen around Madison's Atwood neighborhood.
Jamie Perez shows us what these flyers actually say and how it's resonating with the people who live there. Jamie?
Well, a lot of those flyers have been taken down, but I was able to get some video of one that was still hanging up in the community. It's titled Sexual Predator Targeting Women in the Atwood Community / Willie Street. It then goes on to list of acts that this person is allegedly doing. They're very specific, but neighbors say that if these allegations are true, they hope that it can help others from becoming victims of sexual assault.
This is one of the few flyers still posted in the Atwood community saying a sexual predator is targeting women in the area. The flyer says this alleged person is an East Side Madison bar owner who's possessive of women, uses sex or verbal abuse to exert control, uses excessive intoxication to blur the lines of consent, amongst other allegations. After someone posted about it in a community Facebook page this weekend, it sparked a lot of conversation online. The original post was from a flyer seen at the intersection of Baldwin and Willie Street, but that flyer has since been taken down. But this one continues to catch people's attention who live around here. For Kimberly Wright,
I think we need to be really careful and believe everybody who doesn't feel safe.
And Patrick Masters.
It's a lot of really bad things to say about someone, or it's a really bad thing that someone is doing and continuing to do.
They say flyers like this should be taken seriously in their neighborhood, even if no names are mentioned.
Didn't have a lot of time to read it. It sounds like it's describing a pattern of one or more people, of sort of enticing or, hoodwinking people.
Either it's grossly inappropriate, or this is really the only option that someone or a group of people have to try to combat someone doing something grossly inappropriate.
No formal complaints has been filed with Madison police, but that's something the Rape Crisis Center says may have been done intentionally.
I think they're a smart thing to do, actually. I think that it's women taking care of each other in the neighborhood, and women don't always want to report to police.
Madison police say they can't do much about these flyers until they have a formal complaint on the record. The Rape Crisis Center's phone number is listed there at the bottom of your screen, as well as on the bottom of that flyer, as a resource for victims of any sexual assault. They say that they're available 24/7 to help, even if going to the police is something that victims are not comfortable with doing.
All right, Jamie Perez reporting for us. Thank you, Jamie. More local news now, as a Chicago-based developer is pulling out an $11 million project on Madison's south side. That building was meant to provide permanent housing for the homeless, but the State Journal reports the nonprofit Heartland Housing announced it's abandoning its 58-unit proposal. The city is examining its next steps.
A key Republican lawmaker is trying to stop a bill that would make it more difficult for families to opt out of vaccinations. The bipartisan proposal would get rid of personal conviction waivers, but still allow waivers for religious or medical reasons. The legislation is designed to be a protective measure as more than 700 measles cases continue to be reported across the nation. Republican Representative Jeremy Thiesfeld says he and his children are all vaccinated. He encourages other families to do so, but Thiesfeld says he believes government should not be forcing parents to vaccinate their children. But the bill's author, Representative Gordon Hintz, says government has an obligation to protect the public's health.
Look, we're going to get an increase in the number of kids getting vaccinated one of two ways. We're either going to pass this bill or we're going to have a measles outbreak, and parents will run to get their kids vaccinated when that happens. And I'm hoping we can avoid that.
We've turned far too much responsibility that parents ought to have over to other governing authorities, and this one is just going a step too far.
The bill has broad support from a number of medical groups. Thiesfeld chairs the state's education committee, and he says if the bill comes to his committee, the odds of it passing are, quote, not very strong.
Any runners or bikers out there who use the Southwest commuter path, a section between Commonwealth Avenue and South Breeze Terrace will be closed from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. through Friday while MG&E works on power poles there. There will be a marked detour that will mainly be along residential streets. Still ahead tonight, we'll tell you about a big boost in the state's tourism industry.
Plus the meaning behind a new sculpture unveiled today on the UW campus. That story and more next. Stay with us. State's tourism industry got a big bump last year, generating more than $21 billion. Several large events drew visitors, including the Brewers' playoff games, Madison's CrossFit Games, and Harley-Davidson's 115th anniversary celebration over in Milwaukee. The UW-Madison class of 2019 leaving behind a class gift that pays homage to women of its past. This morning, class officers unveiled a sculpture called The Monarch. It celebrates the 150th anniversary of women earning undergraduate degrees at UW-Madison. The sculpture was made with fabricated steel by local artist and alumna Victoria Reed, who incorporated crochet patterns into its design to portray a woman of power and dignity.
So wonderful to have a representation of women here on campus, and it makes me feel like I belong here more, and I hope other women feel that as well.
And if you'd like to see it, that sculpture is on permanent display at the Hamill Family Browsing Library in the Memorial Union.
Around 20 billion pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables are thrown out every year. And now a new business is expanding into Madison, helping us all take advantage of so-called ugly produce and keep it from going to waste. Imperfect Produce is based out of San Francisco. The company ships boxes of fruits and vegetables directly to your home on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. That food would normally be thrown out. Boxes cost as little as $12. We do have more information on Imperfect Produce over on channel3000.com. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is predicting parts of the Great Lakes will surge to record high levels in the next 6 months. According to a report put out today, the lakes have been rising steadily for several years and are getting an extra boost from winter's melting snow combining with the recent rain. Levels on Lake Superior and Lake Erie are expected to break records that were set decades ago. Lakes Michigan, Huron, and Ontario are not expected to reach record levels, but they are still expected to rise significantly. Looking ahead to a special report tonight at 10, News 3 Now is investigating the governor's plans to handle something his office has already been asked to do hundreds of times: issue pardons.
Now, people who've served time are hopeful they can receive one of these acts of grace and be forgiven for their crimes. Our Rose Schmidt sat down for a one-on-one with the governor. His predecessor, Governor Walker, didn't issue any pardon, so it's been nearly a decade since one has been issued. Since Governor Evers took office, his office has received more than 1,000 requests from offenders, inmates, and their families asking the pardon board to consider their stories.
There's a point in everybody's life where they've done something really stupid, and you know, obviously, if you end up in the correctional institution, that's more serious than others. But you have to believe in redemption and giving people a second chance.
And tonight we'll introduce you to this Madison man whose story is filled with pain and loss, but those very emotions drove him to write to the governor asking to have his record wiped clean. That story tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Still to come in sports tonight, we are looking ahead to Game 4 between the Celtics and the Bucks before the series heads back to Milwaukee later on this week.
But first, after a warm weekend, things are trending in the wrong direction. Our forecast with Gary Canolfi. We'll have a look at the week ahead next.
All right, Gary, we are looking at a cooler forecast in the mix here, it seems like.
It's already cooler today,
Yeah.
but we started out the day with some showers. Most of the day was dry. We even had some sunshine, but unfortunately, we're going to see more clouds, more rain, and even cooler temperatures as we head to midweek. On visible cloud track, this morning's clouds moved off to the east. Then we had some sunshine through a fair amount of the day. Now we're starting to see mid and high level clouds coming in from the west, and there's rain already across parts of eastern Iowa. A couple of flashes of lightning down here. I think most of the thunderstorm activity will stay south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, but a few of these showers will make it into southern Wisconsin this evening before ending later on tonight. Latest computer model forecast for Wednesday into Thursday, calling for generally around an inch to perhaps an inch and a half of rain across southern Wisconsin. There could be some heavier amounts in areas that get thunderstorms. That's more likely to our south and to our west. But because of that, we do have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday for windy and chilly conditions. High temperatures only in the upper 40s. Much of the day will be in the mid 40s, but we'll see over an inch of rain. At least we won't see any snow on Wednesday. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam in Platteville. You can see out to the west, the skies are starting to cloud up a little bit. The WISC Skycam also looking to the west, a little sunshine coming through, but you can see how the clouds are also starting to thicken up. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, we've had a little sunshine downtown, although the clouds are starting to win out, at least in front of the sun. High today 58, low temperature 48, so the high temperature below normal with the low temperature above normal. Very typical when you have a generally cloudy day. And it's 58 now, winds are out of the east at 7 miles per hour. The dew point temperature is still at 43, but as the atmosphere moistens up and those temperatures get closer to the dew point, we'll see the rain really on Wednesday into Thursday. Current temperatures are cool for this time of year, but not too bad. Some 60s to our south and west where there has been a little more sunshine. Generally 50s across the state of Wisconsin, away from Lake Michigan where temperatures are a little bit cooler. Our upper level winds right now are from west to east, so it's starting to bring these showers in from the west, but it's actually the forerunner of the main storm system, which is really starting to spin up in the Rockies. Really hasn't tapped into moisture from the Gulf of Mexico yet, but this cold front that came through yesterday bringing us the thunderstorms is starting to stall out. Notice how it becomes stationary. To the south of it, there'll probably be a fair amount of severe weather over the next couple of days. Fortunately for us, we'll be on the cool side of the system, but that doesn't keep the rain away. Temperatures right now range from the 70s to the south, ahead of that cold front where we were yesterday, to the 50s behind it where we are now. And you can see on future track the chance for a couple of showers this evening. Tomorrow should be dry during the day. Then as the storm system gets more organized, you can see the rain chances coming in by early on Wednesday morning. The rain pretty steady through the day on Wednesday. There could be some snow up in the northern portion of the state, but we'll be warm enough to stay mainly with rain. There could even be a couple of thunderstorms. It could even linger into Thursday before the main area of low pressure moves on through. And then we should see drier weather returning for Friday. So for tonight, look for skies to turn mostly cloudy. It'll be cooler. Some showers mid to late evening into the early overnight hours. Low temperature dropping to 40. For tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 57. So similar to today, be variably cloudy and cool, but should be dry during the day. Future track shows those clouds, maybe a shower chance tonight. Then tomorrow, dry for the day, some breaks in the clouds. Tomorrow night, the clouds thicken up. Rain starts to develop by early on Wednesday morning, and then rain off and on through the day on Wednesday. High temperatures in the upper 40s by late in the day. Rainfall amounts around an inch through Thursday afternoon. 7 to 10 day forecast. Once we get rid of the rain, those temperatures start to go back up. It'll be a slow process. By Thursday of next week, temperatures should be back to around 70.
Well, former Badger Ethan Happ starting to make some move towards a potential playing future. That story next in sports.
He's not stopping. He's going to keep going after it, and as you should. That's, like I said, I always, go back to saying that the object of the game is to outscore the other team. So I get it, and he's being rewarded for his aggression at the free throw line.
Both teams play really physical, so there's going to be more calls, right? If you try to go in there and try to finish.
All right, so here we go. Kyrie Irving has been vocal about the calls and Giannis Antetokounmpo getting to the line, rather. He got there 22 times in Game 3, but the Greek Freak says, hey, man, that's playoff basketball. You got to be aggressive if you want to win. Game 4 already in progress with the Bucks leading the series 2-1. Marcus Smart is back for Boston. No Malcolm Brogdon still for the Bucks. Now, if the Bucks get a win tonight, the chances to wrap this series up at Game 5 on Friday are pretty high, I would say. Pretty high, we'll say. Right now, Celtics in the lead by 5 in the first quarter. Again, Game 5 back at Fiserv on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Former Badger forward Ethan Happ selected to play in the inaugural NBA G League Elite Camp, where drafts hopefuls and top prospects will show off their skills. That starts this Sunday in Chicago. Now, this is a different thing from the NBA Draft Combine. That will be right after the G League Camp. Last season, Happ averaged 17.3 points and 10.1 rebounds per game. The Badger softball team getting ready for a road trip to Indiana, where Wisconsin will face Iowa on Thursday for the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Now, the winner of that game will play fourth-ranked Ohio State on Friday. The Badgers coming off of a series win over Nebraska over the weekend to finish the regular season 38-11. The Brewers hosting the Nationals tonight, a team that's not really living its best life right now. The Nationals spent more than 7 hours on the airport tarmac in Philadelphia until 2 Central this morning because of mechanical issues with their plane. They went back to the team hotel, and a spokeswoman says the team was still in Philadelphia as of 7:45 this morning. Somehow they got to Milwaukee. So with Christian Yelich back and in mid-season form, the Brewers should be in good shape tonight. Lorenzo Cain with a scheduled day off today, according to Craig Counsell. And as we reported last night, his left hand is just bruised. X-rays were negative after he got hit in the hand in the game yesterday. Jhoulys Chacin getting the call on the mound against Max Scherzer. First pitch about 15 minutes away. A Monday edition of NASCAR after the Gander RV 400 was rained out at Dover International Speedway yesterday. 45 laps ago, Daniel Suarez in the lead decides to pit after 6 cautions through this point in the race. And while he's on pit row, Martin Truex Jr. snags the lead and hangs onto it, takes the checkered flag. It's his second career win at Dover. Finally tonight, the Giants-Reds game was delayed this afternoon, not because of the weather, it's obviously beautiful there, but a swarm of bees that invaded Great American Ballpark. And for whatever reason, Reds second baseman Derek Dietrich decided he wanted to test out the fades. He went in on the action, putting on a white beekeeper exterminator-looking outfit there while getting a tank of something that was not insecticide. He pretended to fumigate the field. The game was delayed for 18 minutes. And the Reds won 12-4, the final score. That was very brave.
A lot more bees than fans.
Yes, indeed. That might be a fact.
That's generally how it goes down there. All right, Gary, final check.
Yeah, I saw the mosquitoes in the backyard.
They're going to freeze to death by Wednesday, though, right?
Yeah, right.
No, they won't freeze. Actually, the water will probably help keep them around. Visible cloud tracking. See the clouds thickening up from the west and some rain just starting to approach Grant County from the west, so expect some showers this evening. Temperatures right now pretty comfortable, mid-50s to the upper or mid-60s over southern Wisconsin. Cooler near Lake Michigan, though. Temperatures there staying in the 40s. Alert day for Wednesday for rain and wind, and highs only in the 40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm on Thursday, and then after that, a slow but steady climb in temperatures. Slight chances for rain in there. Most of the time it'll be dry. And by Thursday of next week, we should get up to about 70.
The weekend looks okay.
That's looking good down the road a little bit. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.